So before we begin, can I request Sir Koy to play our opening prayer for this activity? And also to record our proceedings this morning. Thank you, Sir Koy.
Wala lagi opening prayer, ma'am.
Naman dito sa ano ba to? Sa program?
Yes, sir. Na-link akong gi-share sa program, sir.
Ay.
Recording in progress.
Dear God, thank you for the opportunity to meet together. Please help us to come together to make this institution reflect your kingdom. Breathe life into our ideas and decisions. Help us build a team that has love and respect at its heart. Give us the strength to continue working for your kingdom in this time of pandemic. Lord, come give us the inspiration to be the best we can be. May we be a shining example of your goodness and truth within, wherever we are. Inspire our thoughts, discussions, and ideas, and continue to remind us that all that we do here today, all that we accomplish, is for the pursuit of truth for the greater glory of you. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to this online safety orientation for the conduct of limited face-to-face laboratory classes for the College of Engineering for the beginning the second semester of school year 2021-2022. Okay, the general safety orientation for the College of Engineering for laboratory classes has been an annual event even before the pandemic. And so we only missed it last year since there were no laboratory classes, face-to-face laboratory classes held last year. So this school year, we are happy to be back, albeit online, and we are happy to be given the opportunity by CHED to conduct limited face-to-face classes for the laboratories. So this morning's activity is composed of two parts. The first part shall be a general laboratory and safety orientation, considering COVID protocols. This will be participated by everybody. And most of the presentation will be provided by our dean for the updates on our academic implementation of our limited face-to-face classes, and then the protocols, okay, emergency and COVID safety protocols to be provided by our safety officer of the Xavier University and the representative from the vice president of the administration office, and then I will be giving a short presentation on the guidelines on the conduct of laboratory classes. And then we'll have a little time for questions so that you can address your questions to our dean or to the representatives of our administration. And then we will ask you to proceed to your department breakout rooms so that you can have a more specific safety orientation for your laboratory courses. Okay, so without further ado, I will now give the floor to our Dean for his welcome address, as well as a presentation on the updates for this particular implementation of the limited face-to-face classes for the College of Engineering. Okay.
Okay.
So help me welcome our Dean, Dr. Hercules Cascon.
Thank you, Ma'am Shi, for that introduction. So, can you hear me? And have you seen my presentation already?
Yes, sir, we can see your
Okay,
presentation.
yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir. Okay.
Okay. To begin with this very important session of the semester, uh, good morning to everyone. So, I missed seeing your faces physically. And welcome to the second semester. And then the second semester of school year 2021-22 is very special for us because murag hayag-hayag na gyud nga makabalik na to sa akong eskwelahan. At least for specific or selected students and faculty members because uh, we are given by CHED and DOH approval to implement the limited face-to-face classes for specific laboratory courses. And therefore, this particular activity is very important because we're doing this the first time and it is always it is but natural that we have to be informed and then we have to ask questions so that we could be guided properly in this implementation. Okay, so I will be presenting to you the first version of the primer for limited face-to-face classes implementation, at least in the College of Engineering level. So I have asked the higher ed vice president for a primer of the university, but then it's not yet ready. But at least our primer would be this is consistent with the guidelines and policies that we have. Okay. So let me present. Okay. So let me begin my presentation by mentioning some of statements, very important statements from the issuances from CHED and from DOH with regards to the implementation of limited face-to-face classes during this COVID-19 pandemic times. So in CHED Memorandum Order 19, Series of 2021, so it has been stated there that engineering programs require students to learn certain competencies that can be learned and validated only in face-to-face workshop and laboratory classes. So this is one of the most important impetus of us that we really have to implement limited face-to-face classes because we really recognize that this is true. There are certain competencies that students can only learn by hands-on exposure. Dili madala sa online learning. Okay? And then we also have the CHED DOH Joint Memorandum Circular 2021-001. This is the first one. Like there is a need for schools to put in place mitigating measures in their campuses to prevent their students, faculty, and staff from infection or becoming spreaders of the disease. So, in continuation, kaya mag-limited face-to-face manggid ka ha, di ba? Importante magitong limited face-to-face because of the critical competencies that we can only acquire by hands-on exposure. Then, we also have to protect ourselves, di ba? Students, faculty, and staff. Na maprotektahan ta sa infection and then we don't also become spreaders of the disease. Okay. So, because of this, then we have here our basic guidelines. So let me begin with the first one. So limited face-to-face classes can only be allowed under alert levels 1, 2, and 3. So as you all know, ang Cagayan de Oro, nisaka na pod from level 2 to level 3, right? So level 3 pa man ta karon. So therefore, our limited face-to-face classes could still be implemented, although there is just a delay as I will going to discuss later on. So all limited face-to-face classes will revert to full online modalities at higher alert levels. So for example, if simba ko si Cagayan de Oro mahimong level 4 or level 5, then automatically our limited face-to-face classes would stop and all classes would revert to the full online modalities. And then it could only be restored back to limited face-to-face upon the reinstatement of the applicable or the lower alert levels. So our second sem classes are starting this week. Diba? Hibalo matatanan na although ang atong Shula Brevis kay extended man for the until Saturday, no? So nahimo na gid siyang 1 week. That is in response to the limitations that we had. Internet problems man to usually. Daghan kay nang-apektahan. Okay. But our actual limited face-to-face classes would start on February 2, at least February 2, because this is pursuant to the latest CHED and DOH directive. According to that directive, dapat by end kuno sa January or after January 31 mag-start ang limited face-to-face. But I choose nga it should be February 2 because Monday man to and then ay holiday, so mas maayo siguro February 2. And then February 2 would also give us a lot of time to prepare whatever things that we need to further refine and so on and so forth, and also to consider the possibilities of changing policies and guidelines, because in times of pandemic, policies and guidelines by CHED and DOH are changing rapidly. So para po maka-adjust pa ta. Okay. Number 2, so Xavier University abides with CHED and DOH protocols in terms of physical and internal system readiness to conduct limited face-to-face classes. So what I'm trying to say is that we have the CHED and DOH approval to conduct limited face-to-face classes. For engineering, ikatulo man tano kay niuna man ang medicine ug ang nursing, so ikatulo ang engineering. So we were given specifically for us valid for 2 semesters. Okay? And then because we have been approved because we were able to retrofit our facilities and the works. Like for example, we also have COVID isolation units. So actually, in COVID isolation unit, daan na siya because when the College of Medicine and Nursing applied, it is one of the most important requirements by CHED and DOH. And then we have specific university entrance and exit routes. So for the College of Engineering, naging siya specific, no? I think it would be discussed later on. Pero ako na lang siyang i-mention nga, for engineering students, they would enter at the Mortola Gate and then they would exit at the College of Medicine dito sa German Doctors Hospital with a particular route sa likod mo agi, and that is not supposed to be intersecting with the other colleges, like for example, medicine and nursing. And then Xavier University have its own health and safety protocols that are comprehensive and are strictly implemented by our internal crisis management committee. So ang head ani isang atong Vice President for Administration, si Sir Ed Sasoy. Okay. Number 3, so this is very clear. Only fully vaccinated students, faculty members, and staff should be allowed to join limited face-to-face. Okay. So katurag yung fully vaccinated ang maka-appeal. And then schools shall advise fully vaccinated students with significant comorbidities themselves or living with individuals with similar condition to consider flexible learning and take face-to-face classes in succeeding semester or whenever possible without prejudice to readmission and maximum residency. So, ang CMO 10 po, CMO 19, and sorry for that, that is CMO 19 series of 2021, it provides for the accomplishment of the leave of absence. This time, ang atong leave of absence na mention ani is specific for certain courses. Not for the, sa una bitaw, ang atong usual nga leave of absence is that you have to stop schooling man for the entire term. But this time, the LOA would only apply for specific courses na dili mo maapilan. Like atong, for example, if you would not like to go to join the limited face-to-face. Okay. And then, of course, together with the LOA, there is a curricular catch-up plan that is prepared and to be implemented. Okay. And then, number 5, Xavier ensures that all students participating in limited face-to-face classes have relevant health insurance. Either it could be PhilHealth, the most common, or some other type of health insurance with COVID-19 coverage. So, basta ra ba kuan health insurance na COVID-19 coverage, so you have to know based on your kanabitong provider. Kay, for example, PhilHealth, ang makover sa COVID-19 is katuramang dili tong mild. Dili ang mild. So, naa siya limit. So, you have to verify this with your health insurance provider. And then, we are doing this right now, right? Together with ACES. So, its students should coordinate with the college admin or ACES so that the required documents are submitted as soon as possible. So, natay mga documents na dapat isubmit. And then, any specific concerns, questions regarding this matter should be directed promptly to the college admin or to ACES so that it could be addressed. Because we are given deadline that it should be submitted. All documents will be submitted by January 24. Okay. Okay, to proceed, to minimize exposure of students, faculty and staff, exposure of students, faculty, and staff while ensuring that the most critical hands-on competencies are learned by the students, the face-to-face lab experiments or activities are carefully selected or redesigned. So what I'm trying to say here is that the usual menu or course outline of laboratory activities in a lab class is not the one that would apply anymore because this has been redesigned for the faculty members, carefully selected, so that your coming to school would be optimized, and then we will also minimize the exposure of students, faculty, and staff. So, ayaw lang gini siyang pili, ayaw og redesign sa mga faculty members to ensure that you learn the most critical hands-on competencies. Okay? So, limit ang number. So, but katog yung importante yun. Okay? And then, in connection with that, so your laboratory instructor will assign you to groups and will give corresponding specific dates of your face-to-face laboratory meetings. So again, before February 2, 2022. So dapat mahatag na sa faculty or sa imong instructor ang imong grouping kung sa to nga mga dates nga naamoy face-to-face lab meetings before February 2. So you have to request this during the online course orientation sessions since this is critical for your planning. Like for example, I will mention that there are some limited face-to-face lab courses that a particular student would only join physically only one experiment. So nana siya, mga special na siya, for dili pud tanan mga laboratory classes nga inana. So for example, if you are living in Butuan City and then you are enrolled in this particular laboratory class that I'm describing, wherein you only need to attend one physical lab meeting yun, then I think for you, you should know that in advance, because for you, there is no need for you to really get a place to stay here in CDO. Marinig ka sa CDO magpuyo, no? Pwede ka raman dito sa inyong balay, sa Butuan. Imo lang iplanuhon na you have a trip going to CDO on a particular day, right? And then uli na dayon after. So things like that, very important for the planning of the student. So take note that the faculty member is required to include this in the learning contract. So it is always been our practice that there is a learning contract, diba? Based on the syllabus. So I require the faculty members handling laboratory, face-to-face laboratory classes that kini, like the groups of the students, corresponding specific dates of the lab meetings should be reflected in the learning contract para ma-inform good ang mga estudyante, and then they can plan ahead. And if these are not given by the faculty member for whatever reason, kindly contact my office immediately so that we can possibly resolve this as early as possible. Okay? So next, students are to report to Xavier University only on your assigned dates for physical lab activities. By default, no face-to-face lab extension and make up for any missed face-to-face lab classes are allowed by default. Okay? So alternative online activities should be given for any missed face-to-face lab activities. But I want you to consult with your department chair in case you have critical concerns regarding any missed face-to-face laboratory classes. Let me further clarify that number 8 is following the principle of leniency that we have to, to observe in times of COVID-19 pandemic. So, di maginato matagna kung unsay manghitabo. So, kung ma-miss, so mas maayo siguro gyud nga tagaan na lang alternative online activities. Okay? Kay lisod pod o sige tag-schedule og kanang bitong face-to-face na limited face-to-face gyud nga laboratory classes na wala na to na schedule daan because it requires a lot of preparation. And it would give us unnecessary additional exposure to the virus. And then by default also, number 9, by default, students would go home directly after the end of face-to-face lab class. So, magigini among gi-prepare nga pagkahuman sa klase, uli dayon to minimize exposure to the virus. If you need to stay in Xavier during noon break for another face-to-face lab class in the afternoon, I think na ay mga certain students nga naa sila inani. Labi na katong programs nga daghan o limited face-to-face nga gi-offer this semester. So naa sila sa buntag, naapod sa hapon. Okay, so if you need to stay in Xavier during noon break, then you are advised to bring your own food. Of course, appeal na ba ang mainom? Eat only at the satellite canteen because satellite canteen is our assigned holding area and strictly observe necessary health safety protocols. Okay. Number 10, during face-to-face lab class periods, stay only in your assigned laboratory room. If you need to wait, again, stay at our designated waiting area, the satellite canteen. Roaming around the campus, loitering in hallways and in other rooms, labi na kay daghan man mga classrooms na bakante, even org rooms is strictly not allowed. Strictly follow assigned entry and exit routes. Okay? Number 11, so this is about scheduling. So efficiency of your limited face-to-face class schedule is prioritized when we made the class schedules. However, not all possibilities could be factored in. Diba? That's the reality. For any concerns where your schedule will cause you of more exposure than necessary, report this to your instructor and department chair so that solutions can be arrived as much as possible. So, with regards to a schedule, kana bitong dili kay optimal ang schedule. So, kini. So, you need to inform yung instructor and your department chair para mabuhatan na to solution. Like for example, mas maayo man di ay siya ibalhin on the other section, etc. Okay. Number 12. So while inside the laboratories performing experiments and activities, make sure that adequate physical distancing. So the minimum required by CHED and DOH is 1.5 meters. That is the minimum. And it should be implemented at all times at much as possible. Although there could be challenges, di ba? Kay mag-experiment man ta. There could be challenges with this. But as much as possible, we would really like to maintain the 1.5 meters physical distancing. So then, in addition to that, ensure that you wear your face shields. Yes, ang face shield required sulod sa atong lab. Importante gid siya. Additional siya nga kuan nato kana bitong layer of support, not just the standard face mask. So it is required inside our lab. And of course, you should have your laboratory gowns and other applicable PPE. So, importante po niya, laboratory gowns or other applicable PPE. Follow indicated safety procedures, routes, and safety signs inside the lab. Students should bring home their lab gowns or PPE, and this should be washed before use. Di ba? And then we ensure no contamination while not in use. These materials are not in use. Okay? And then number 13, while inside Xavier University, all engineering students by default are not allowed to go beyond the soccer field to minimize unnecessary exposure to other students and university personnel. We will wait for the official or final protocols for the use of university canteen and Xavier libraries. Murag naa ang nakita nako nga naay bagong protocol gipagawas ang XUlive. So of course kung nana siya protocol nga gipagawas, then kining akong gi-mention diri ma-supersede po ni siya. Pero default, like preferred gid nako to control bitaw ang atong exposure nga dili mag laglaag bisag asa. So tama na to sa atong soccer field. So the soccer field is actually allocated for surveying students because that is where they are going to do their lab activities. Number 14. So this is about final year project study. So although lab rooms and schedules are allocated for final year project study, limited face-to-face lab activities or classes, the use of these facilities are not automatic. Dili automatic ang FYPS na mag-lab, right? All face-to-face final year project study activities that will use our physical facilities require prior approval by the college dean. And it is to be endorsed by the faculty advisor, lab technician, lab manager, and the department chair. So there is a particular form that the students would fill up, and then they should specify the dates and times, the names of the students, particular students na musulod sa classroom or musulod sa university, the intended activities. So i-describe gining mga activities and the corresponding health and safety precautions necessary or that they have to practice. And this should be processed and approved 1 week before the implementation date. So very important. So katong na ay final year project study ng mga laboratory activities, So, dili na siya automatic. It needs to be processed. Applyan pa na siya. So, there is a form that could be obtained from the laboratory technician. Okay. So, that ends my presentation. And I will be entertaining questions during the assigned time later. And thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you, Sir
Okay,
Herx,
thank you, sir.
for that very specific orientation for the College of Engineering. Now, before we proceed to more general and campus-wide safety protocols to be presented by our safety officer, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of our Vice President for Administration, Sir Ed Sasoy, who is so kind enough to be here with us this morning. Hello, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. Good
And-
morning, Ma'am Charlene.
And also, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of our chairs and faculty members of the College of Engineering who are here with us this morning. So I would like now to proceed to our next presenter, our Suki for the College of Engineering Safety Orientation every year since we have begun this activity. He has always been with us. So help me welcome to give us the campus-wide safety protocols as well as our emergency protocols during unfortunate cases of fire and earthquake. So we have our XU safety officer, Sir Apollo Bacas. Sir, good morning.
Hello,
Sir, will you be doing your own presentation or
No, I'll just make an outline, but it's going to be an all video presentation.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, the floor is yours, sir, before
Okay,
Sir Toy will play your videos.
Thanks, Dr. Sherlyn. Good morning, Dean Herx, and also to our Vice President for Admin, Ed Sasoy din. Good morning to everyone.
Morning,
Congratulations for the College of Engineering for being granted by the TED for limited face-to-face classes for the laboratories. So my presentation is first, the video contains the general protocol based on the guidelines given by the different government agencies, particularly DOLE, DOH, TED, and even the Department of Tourism. So it also includes the library, the canteen, the use of the canteen, but I believe that the students, even the College of Nursing, the School of Medicine, encourage the students to stay in their classrooms and bring their own pack lunch. And if they are going to class early, there should be a holding area. For the library use, the measures was prepared by the university libraries, and it includes the best practices by the International School of Librarian Associations, and of course also the government protocols. Then we have added, although this was not it, but according to Director Rowley, there will be online booking for the library, and it was already discussed by the Council of Deans. So ako na lang sa dyan i-appeal niya para advance info. Then for the emergency protocols, in terms of criteria, just only give you the fire and earthquake. There are a lot of reference in the YouTube and other in the Google, but we preferred to use the government video presentation provided by the DILG, especially the Bureau of Fire and the DOST. Then we have also a video from PIMA. It's more on the proper execution of the duck cover and hold. Because normally we just cover our head, but actually the protocol there is to cover the soft portion of the head and the neck. And I think that's the outline, and you can proceed with the video presentation. Thank you.
Okay, Sir Koy, can I request that the videos shared by uh, Sir Bakas be shared? Thank you.
Hindi na bago sa ating bansa ang bagyo, pagputok ng bulkan, paglindol, sunog, at kung ano-ano pang kalamidad. Ito ay hindi natin may iwasan, pero maaari natin itong paghandaan. Bilang kasagutan, ating binuo ang Project DINA o Disaster Information for Nationwide Awareness. Sa tulong ng iba't ibang ahensya ng pamahalaan, layunin nito na magbigay ng sapat na kaalaman tungkol dito at kung ano ang dapat gawin para mapaghandaan ang mga kalamidad. Halina at magkaisa. Tandaan, kung bawat isa ay laging handa, tiyak ang kaligtasan ng ating pamilya at ng ating komunidad. Handa na ba kayo?
Ang sunog sa tahanan ang pinakahihilakbot na pangyayaring maaaring maranasan sa inyong buhay.
Noong 2012, nakapagtala ang Bureau of Fire Protection ng 4,079 na sunog sa kabahayan. Halos kalahati ng kabuang 8,798 na naitalang sunog sa bansa. Noong parehong taon, 252 ang namatay sa sunog, 745 ang nasaktan at mahigit sa 3.7 billion pesos ang naabong ari-arian.
Upang maibsan ang pagkakaroon ng aksidente dulot ng sunog, idinaraos tuwing Marso ang Fire Prevention Month. Gamitin ang panahong ito para tingnan ang mga electrical wires sa ating tahanan at opisina upang mabawasan ang panganib ng sunog sa inyong tahanan.
Mag-install ng smoke detector sa mataas na bahagi ng inyong bahay. Siguraduhin gumagana ito sa pamamagitan ng pagsuri ng baterya o power supply. Kailangan mayroong nakaantabay na pang-apula ng sunog, katulad ng fire extinguisher. Sa paggamit nito, tandaan ang letrang PASS. P. Pull the pin. A. Aim the nozzle at the base of the fire. S. Squeeze the lever. And S. Sweep side to side. Magkaroon ng emergency exit plan sa inyong tahanan at ipaalam ito sa mga kasama sa bahay. Kung may kasama kayong bata o may kapansanan, planuhin mabuti ang kanilang kaligtasan sa oras ng sakuna.
Huwag iwanan ang niluluto.
Itagong mabuti ang mga posporo, lighter at anumang kemikal na maaaring pagmulan ng sunog. Ilagay ang mga ito sa lugar na hindi maabot ng mga bata at malayo sa kalan.
Panatilihing malinis ang inyong kalan at huwag maglagay ng gamit sa ibabaw nito. Siguraduhin din na walang tagas ang inyong LPG.
Tanggalin sa saksakan ng mga appliance pagkatapos gamitin.
Iwasan ang pag-overload ng mga saksakan at huwag gumamit ng sirang kordon.
Layo ang kandila sa mga bagay na madaling masunog at huwag kalimutang patayin ito bago matulog. Kung nagpiprito at biglang nagliyab ang kawali, huwag itong buhusan ng tubig. Sa halip, takpan ito ng basang tela.
Lumabas agad ng bahay, kasama ang pamilya, at maging mahinahon sa lahat ng oras.
Isara ang pinto ng nasusunog na kwarto, maging ang mga pintuang madadaanan upang hindi kumalat ang apoy.
Bago buksan ang anumang pinto, pakiramdaman muna ito gamit ang likod ng inyong kamay. Kapag ito'y mainit, maaring may sunog sa kabila nito.
Pumwesto sa kwartong may bintana at humingi ng saklolo. Magwagayway sa labas ng bintana ng anumang telang may matingkad na kulay.
Sa ganitong paraan, mabilis ka makikita at masasagip ng mga bumbero.
Kapag makapal na ang usok, gumapang palabas ng bahay. Gumamit ng basang tela para ipantakip sa inyong bibig.
Kapag nadapuan ng apoy, gawin ang stop, drop, cover your face and roll. Tumigil sa pagtakbo. Tumapa sa sahig. Takpan ang mukha. At magpagulong-gulong.
Suriin ang sarili at ang mga kasama.
Huwag bumalik sa inyong bahay hanggat wala pang abiso ang mga bombero.
Tamang kaalaman ay kahandaan. Maging ligtas, maging panatag. Pilipinas.
Hindi na bago sa ating bansa ang bagyo, pagputok ng bulkan, paglindol, sunog, at kung ano-ano pang kalamidad. Ito ay hindi natin maiiwasan, pero maaari natin itong paghandaan. Bilang kasagutan, ating binuo ang Project DINA o Disaster Information for Nationwide Awareness. Sa tulong ng iba't ibang ahensya ng pamahalaan, layunin nito na magbigay ng sapat na kaalaman tungkol dito at kung ano ang dapat gawin para mapaghandaan ang mga kalamidad. Halina at magkaisa. Tandaan, kung bawat isa ay laging handa, tiyak ang kaligtasan ng ating pamilya at ng ating komunidad. Handa na ba kayo?
Ang lindol ay ang mahina hanggang sa malakas na pagyanig, dulot ng paggalaw ng mga bato sa ilalim ng lupa. Tinatayang 20 lindol ang nagaganap sa Pilipinas bawat araw. Masyadong mahina ang ilan sa mga ito, kaya hindi sila nararamdaman. Ilan sa mga posibleng panganib ng lindol ay ang ground rupture o pagbitak ng lupa, pagguho ng mga gusali, ground shaking o pagyanig, liquefaction o pag-aastang malatubig ng kalupaan, landslide o pagguho at tsunami. Maaaring magkaroon ng ground rupture o yung pagbitak ng lupa sa lugar na tinatahak ng active fault. Hatid naman ng malakas na lindol mula sa ilalim ng dagat ang panganib ng tsunami. Upang makaiwas sa mga panganib na hatid ng lindol, maging laging handa.
Siguraduhin matibay ang inyong tahanan at alamin ang panganib sa inyong lugar. Siguraduhin matibay ang pagkakabit ng mga nakabiting bagay at ligtas ang pagkakalagay ng mga mabibigat na kasangkapan. Huwag magpatong ng babasaging kasangkapan sa ibabaw ng cabinet. Sa halip, ilagay ang mga ito at ang mga mabibigat na gamit sa pinakailalim ng cabinet. At sa ligtas na lugar naman, ang mga nakakalasong chemical at mga bagay na madaling magliyab. Ugaling isara ang tangke ng gas pagkatapos itong gamitin. Alamin ang mga emergency exit at ang pinakamabilis at pinakaligtas na daan patungo rito. Alamin kung paano gamitin ang fire extinguisher at emergency alarm. Nararapat na may signage ang mga ito at nakalagay sa mga lugar na accessible at madaling puntahan. Makilahok sa mga earthquake drill at regular itong isagawa.
Kapag lumilindol at ikaw ay nasa loob ng gusali,
Manatiling mahinahon sa lahat ng oras. Gawin ang duck, cover, and hold technique. Yumuko, magtago sa ilalim ng matibay na lamesa at hawakan ang mga paa nito. Kung walang lamesa, pumunta sa matibay na bahagi ng bahay, lumuhod o mag-squat, takpan ang ulo at batok ng inyong kamay. Umiwas sa mga bagay na madaling mabasag, mabibigat at maaaring bumagsak.
kung nasa labas,
Lumayo sa mga poste, puno, gusali, pader, at iba pang bagay na maaaring matumba o bumagsak. Mainam na pumunta sa open space. Kung nagmamaneho, itabi at ihinto ang inyong sasakyan. Huwag tumawid ng tulay, overpass at flyover. Kung malapit sa dagat, mabilis na lumikas palayo dito dahil sa panganib ng tsunami. Pagkatapos ng lindol at ikaw ay nasa loob pa ng gusali, lumabas dito at pumunta sa isang open space. Tulungan sa paglikas ang mga matatanda, may kapansanan, mga bata at buntis. Gumamit ng hagdan sa halip na elevator. Huwag nang pumasok pa sa nasirang gusali dahil sa panganib ng aftershock. Kapag nasa evacuation area o open space, suriin ang sarili at mga kapamilya at sundin ang alituntunin ng lugar. Balik sa tahanan, siyasating mabuti ang tubo ng tubig at mga kawad ng kuryente. Kung may nakitang sira, isara agad ang main switch ng mga ito at ipagbigay alam sa otoridad. Kung walang kuryente, huwag munang gumamit ng mga gasera at kandila dahil sa posibilidad ng gas leakage na maaaring magdulot ng sunog.
tamang kaalaman ay kahandaan, maging ligtas, maging panatag, Pilipinas.
any second of any day, a major earthquake can strike in California. The experts tell us it's not a question of if, but when. We must all be prepared for the inevitable destructive earthquake. California is no stranger to large earthquakes. In 1906, the Great San Francisco earthquake occurred, one of the most significant earthquakes of all time. In more recent times, California has experienced significant quakes with both the Loma Prieta and Northridge earthquakes. Scientists do not yet have the information needed to predict earthquakes, and no region within the state is immune from the potential for major earthquake damage. When you feel the first ground motions, you must immediately drop to the floor. Take cover under a desk or table. If you're not near a desk or table, drop to the floor against an interior wall. Resist the urge to panic. Stay put and do not move from under the shelter. Research has shown that most injuries occur when people inside buildings attempt to move to a different location inside the building or try to leave it. So, do not run outside where you could be vulnerable to the danger of falling debris. Stay away from windows, bookcases, cabinets, or other objects that could topple and fall. Hold on until the shaking stops. The reason to hold on to the desk or table is if it moves, you move with it. At a desk or table located near a window, get underneath it and pull your chair in as close as you can to shield yourself from possible breaking glass. Again, resist the urge to panic and flee. Remain calm even though you may witness the loss of electricity, the sound of various alarms, and activation of the fire sprinkler system. Do not be surprised by the noise from broken glass, creaking walls, or falling objects. The main thing to remember is remain calm and resist fleeing. If you're inside, stay inside. If you're outside, stay there. Resist the urge of running toward a building. Instead, find a safe location and drop, cover, and hold. Try to move to an open area, away from overhead power lines, building facades, architectural embellishments, or windows. If you're confined to a wheelchair, lock your wheels. Lean forward and cover your neck with your hands and arms. If you're in a stairwell, drop and cover next to an interior wall. Remain there until the tremor stops and follow directions that are announced over the public address system. In the restroom, remain there and cover your head with your arms and protect yourself from falling objects. If you're driving, gradually decrease speed. Pull over to the side of the road and stay in the vehicle until the shaking stops. Do not stop under overpasses or bridges. Turn on the radio and listen for advisories, and keep in mind aftershocks follow the initial quake. Do not begin to drive until local authorities have deemed it is safe to do so.
The city has just been hit by an earthquake.
Great Shakeout earthquake drills remind you to drop, cover, and hold on to protect yourself during an earthquake in most situations. Let's practice what to do if a sturdy desk or table is nearby. When you feel shaking, immediately drop down onto your hands and knees. An earthquake is less likely to knock you over in this position, and you're a smaller target for anything falling or flying. Then, cover your head with your arms. Clasp your hands around your neck, bend over to protect your vital organs. If you can move safely and a sturdy desk or table is nearby, keep one arm over your head as you crawl to additional shelter. Finally, hold on by gripping a table leg or other part of your shelter. Continue protecting your head and neck with your arm. Remain on your knees and bent over, ready to move with your shelter when it shifts during the shaking. Close your eyes and mouth to protect against dust and debris. Remain in this position until the shaking stops. After the shaking is over, wait a moment and check all around and above you before getting up or leaving your shelter. Register at shakeout.org to practice earthquake safety with millions of people worldwide and to see videos showing what to do in a variety of situations.
We still have another video, Sir Koy? Okay, there's another one.
Kato ng PowerPoint, ma'am.
Okay, Sir Paul.
Dili na siya ma'am, kay dili man na siya video katong naagi mga protocol ma'am katong sa COVID.
The other video.
Oh,
How about this? Pero kaning library update, Sir Paul, are you going to discuss this?
Di na sa libre, inyo na lang ng kuan ma'am, inyong reference.
Okay.
Mo man ang na-discussan sa council na pa yung mga notes gamay
So this is not yet final.
Gamay ra daw, pero mao na ang ilang murag seat reservations.
Sige, so we will just go through that later, pero Sir Koy, we will present first katong video ni Sir, the other PowerPoint of Sir Paul.
Slides mga 4 seconds na siya, every 4 seconds ikadagan.
Okay.
Wala lagi dirim. Unsa yung name, sir?
Sir, katong engineering lab orient video.
Oo, na yung COVID. Engineering lab video.
PPTX siya, sir.
Oo. Ikuha lang na siya, i-open din, press 5, magdagan na nag-iya.
Okay.
Okay, so that was the presentation of Sir Paul on the COVID safety protocols in the campus. Are we still going to show the library use protocol, sir? Are we
Hindi
still
na ma'am.
going to go
Paano lang
over
to,
them?
inyo lang tong reference ma'am.
Kuha na lang.
Okay. Sir Herx,
Ma'am,
what do you think?
Ma'am
Yes.
Si,
Yes,
gibasa
sir.
na ko ang library protocol. So it's still a draft.
Okay.
So di pa siya final. Actually, I can remember that it was presented in the last Higher Ed Council. But then
Okay.
no resolutions had been made yet because there are still some items to be ironed out. So, but I would just like use this opportunity to students that in the near future, kung ma-approve na gina ang guidelines sa atong use of the library during the pandemic, then you could possibly use the library, physical use of the library. Okay, so let us just wait for that final final release of the protocol. Okay, I have a question to Sir Ed, DI, in relation to the rest of the facilities, Sir Ed. Nakita na ko sa presentation katong sa canteen, di ba? Are the students allowed to use the canteen during limited face-to-face?
Actually nakasugod naman ta sa School of Medicine o sa nursing, no? Ang ilang policy is magbalon gyud Herx.
Magbalon gyud.
Magbalon unya magkaon dito gyud sa classroom, no? Kung pwede.
Dili man classroom man sa engineering dito man sa satellite.
Ay kay sa laboratory man mo, sa laboratory. So natay designated spaces, no? Pero actually gaalaw mo ta sa atong employees nga magkaon sa canteen, no? Unya ready mo sa nang ato ang canteen tungod kay sa pagkaron ato ang arrangement is one person per table man. So nya naka-arrange naman ni siya nga lagyo. So pwede siguro pero dili lang ako lang suggestion gyud ha kung pwede gid magbalon mas maayo. Magbalon lang.
Okay, I understand, sir. So from the sharing of Sir Sasoy students, because I think basically good because of the limitation of the area of the canteen. So it is prioritized for Savior staff, faculty, and teaching staff. Muna, no? Because we would really want to implement social distancing even in our canteens. So for students, it remains that the advice really is to bring their own food and then eat at their designated areas. Okay, sir. Thank you for that clarification.
Ako lang i-emphasize, Herx, additional lang. Ang mga tao lugar basically vulnerable gyud samtang gakaon kay dili man ta makatabon sa atong baba. So during this time, kuan gyud siya, no? Kanang delikado gyud. So ang kanang magparty lugar unya magkaon nga magdikit dili kita sa advisable, no? Ato ra bang experience sa mga estudyante katong mga bag-o nga nakagawas, no? Nagkuhag ID for example o katong na ay mga tuyo sa sulod sa campus, ang chance nga magbulag gamay ra gyud kaayo, no? Kadaghanan gyud ako makita magdikit. So during this time, during eating, no? Vulnerable ka ita. So dinhi ang takod kadaghanan, dinhi ang takod. No? Bisan mag-istorya lang kay mga lagpot mga ginang mga no? So kana lang, no? Emphasize ta lang. Thank you, Herx.
Nalang ko i-answer or request.
Yes.
Tinodan ko sir, based observation ni Sir Eric, especially tungkol pangwag ID. Lisod gig kay kontrolon din ang atong guard ra ba sa especially sa alas hapon. There are only 2 roving guard, so ma-drain gid sila og pamadlong kay mag-converge yung termi, mag-picture din ang ato naman tatong arrangement nga after sa klase, uli ganyan diretso din. Even gani ang School of Medicine, ang ilang di-schedule nga mga 11 o'clock na dismiss na para dito naman iutos gawas. Then sa amo din although gapalit mis canteen dinigay ko sa opisina gani kaon kay kuan lagi. Abri mo kaayo din taas ang para ba highly ang replication ra ba naning sa Omicron paspas kayo. Kato lang din Earth. Thank you.
Okay. Sige, sir. And then we will reserve other questions probably after. I will just have a very short presentation. I'm just going to introduce some guidelines for the laboratories. Is that okay, Sir Herx?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Okay. Sir Koy, I'm going to share my screen.
Sige, ma'am.
Okay. So this is just very brief. Okay. Okay, just to introduce to the students. Okay, so I think for most of these students is going to be their first time to be attending laboratory classes for the College of Engineering. So this is partly in laboratory safety orientation, partly also some specific protocols for our college. Now, I would just like to introduce our laboratory, the personnel in the College of Engineering laboratories. So we are, of course, under the dean, the Dr. Caston. So I am I I forgot to introduce myself earlier. For those who do not know me, I'm Shirley Espaklihan. I'm a faculty of the Chemical Engineering Department and the Laboratories Manager for the College of Engineering. So in the College of Engineering, we have 4 laboratory technicians. And these are Sir Johan Timbal, Sir Carl Angelo Palyares, Sir Johnny Turkey, we call him Sir Turkey, Dakulan, and our new laboratory technician for the Mechanical Engineering Department, Sir Ronald Taganas. Okay, so for this is Sir Johan Timbal. He's the laboratory technician for and will be assisting civil engineering students for their hydraulics laboratory. So those who are going to be enrolled in the hydraulics lab this semester. So please take note of Sir Johan. He is also the lab tech for the electrical engineering laboratories, as well as the assistant laboratory technician for the IE laboratory. So he has 3. He is working with 3 department chairs in the management of these laboratories. Okay, and then Sir Carl Palyares. Okay, this is Sir Carl, and he is in charge of the materials testing laboratories and the surveying laboratories for CE. Okay, so he will be dispensing the surveying materials. He will be working with the CE students in the materials testing laboratories, as well as assisting us in the chemical engineering laboratories. So that is Sir Carl. For the electronics and communications engineering laboratories, we have Sir Turkey Dakulan. So he is in charge of the electronics laboratory, E105, and the communications laboratory, E106. Okay. And lastly, we have from the mechanical engineering department, okay, our new laboratory technician for the ME lab annex. So we have 4 areas in the ME lab annex. Okay. So the ME lab annex is the lab near the Mortula gate. Okay. So we have 4 sections there, Annex A, B, C, and D. Okay. So they are subdivided to cater to different laboratory courses for the ME department. And we also have the power plant laboratory, the one near the Loyola House. Okay. So where you have your boiler equipment, and these are used for specific ME laboratory courses. So you will be assisted by Sir Ronald Taganas. So these 4 laboratory technicians are here with us this morning, and they will be with you during the breakout sessions later together with your different departments. Okay, so I think Sir Herx mentioned this earlier, but I would like to specifically point out to you where you should enter when you come to the university. So we have, as mentioned by Sir Herx, we have a specific entrance for the College of Engineering students. So this is the top view of our engineering building. So, claro ba? Yes, so we are going to enter through Mortula Gate. We are going to enter through Mortula Gate somewhere here, Kanisha Dirino at Bangsa Ororama. And then, so this is the ME Lab Annex. So you have to pass through here and then go through the main entrance of our building. Okay, so the one near the dean's office, and our exit point is the exit beside the satellite canteen. Okay, going through the medicine building and then exiting through the gate of the medicine building. So that will be the general route for the College of Engineering students. So as you can see, we are limited to this area of the campus only. Okay. If you will have questions, you kindly reserve them and ask them later. Okay, so this is our protocol for entering the campus. So of course we present our, I think we present our QR code at the gate. We have our temperature check, and then we have our sanitation procedure. We will be sprayed with, our hands will be sprayed with alcohol, I think. Oh, and then so we show our QR code to the guards, of course, wearing already our face masks, and then we enter the campus through the Martola gate, considering physical distancing. Okay, so as much as we are overwhelmed with meeting our classmates again for the first time after how many months. Okay, so we will try to maintain our distancing, and then we go through the route towards the engineering building. Okay, so once we enter the engineering building, okay, so for those who will be doing their laboratory activities at the materials testing lab, so you can enter through the E103 main door here. And then so the exit for the labs, there are two exits for the labs here. For the E103D electrical engineering laboratory, you are to exit at the end of the corridor. Okay, so after that, diretso na dayon mo dito sa gate. And then for the materials, for those CE students doing activities at the materials testing laboratories, so there is also your laboratory area is actually extended towards the vacant space here. There are actually tents outside this area here where you can work, and then afterwards you can also exit through that area. For those who are going to work at the laboratories at the ground floor, so the ground floor hallway is actually a two-way traffic hallway. So kindly follow the arrows on the floor as to the direction where you will be proceeding. And we have specific entrance and exit doors for each laboratory. So kindly be aware and follow those safety signs. And then for those who are going up the building, so the IE students will go to the 3rd floor, while the CHE students will proceed to the 5th floor. So the stairs to be used for going up is this stairs here. So this is the stairwell near the engineering admin. And then going down will be the stairwell on the other side of the building. Okay, so that will be, so this one is specifically for going down. And then once we go down, we exit immediately through the medicine building, through that small gate hallway there towards the medicine building. Okay, so that will be the general route, okay, for the ground floor. So, and of course, we have our satellite canteen here. So as mentioned earlier, for those who will be having lunch, since you cannot eat at the laboratories, for those who will be staying for the whole day because they have classes both in the morning and in the afternoon, since you will not be allowed to eat inside the laboratories, chairs will be arranged and provided in the satellite canteen for you to take your lunch, and considering physical distancing as well. Okay. So these pictures were taken during the simulation run, wherein we had our CHED representative also with us to check our facilities. So this is this is where you will enter in the building. This is how our ground floor, third floor, and fifth floor hallways look like. There is a barrier already put in place, and so to separate the pedestrians going through different directions. Okay, and then so these stairs are there's stairwell near the engineering admin is for, as mentioned earlier, this is for going up the building. Our elevator is functioning, but I would not recommend you to use the elevator. Okay, so we will minimize being in enclosed spaces. In fact, our laboratories, even if they are air conditioned, because they are air conditioned laboratories, we have been advised not to use the air condition as much as possible. And we have installed electric fans so that we can use our laboratory comfortably, even without the air condition units. Okay. So this is the exit point for those using the EE laboratories. This is the exit point for those using the materials testing laboratory. Okay, so this is the exit route I mentioned earlier. This is the first photo is the taken near the stairwell, near the medicine building. So you go through that small pathway over there, exit to the medicine building, there are gates, okay, and then go out considering physical distancing as much as possible. Okay. Okay, and then I would just like, I'm pretty sure your laboratories instructors may include this also in their orientation, but I would just like to mention this just in case. So for the minimum PPE requirement, of course, is our face mask, and then please consider, Sir Hertz has mentioned that we will be requiring the use of face shields in the laboratories. Okay, so for those who have long hair, so we know that these days we cannot visit the salon frequently. So for those with long hair, make sure they are tied both for male and female. Tied hair sa female naman tani sa una, pero karon both for male and female, make sure that your hair is tied or kept in place. Make sure that you wear closed-toe, non-slip shoes when working in the laboratories. And for some specific laboratories, we require the use of apron or laboratory gowns. So the apron and laboratory gowns are not required for the EE, EC, the EE, ECE, and the communications laboratories. And then for the CHE lab, so aside from the if we are using the face shield, then we can do away with the goggles. Okay. So if not, we make use of the goggles instead of the face shields. We will also be requiring gloves for when you handle chemicals. Okay, and of course, the other requirements for minimum PPE are required for entering the laboratories. Okay. For ME, you also have a specific set of PPE required, particularly for machine shop. Okay, so make sure that you have safety shoes on. Okay, and then earplugs if you will be helpful, especially if you will perform grinding activities or machining activities. Okay. And so this is Sir Ronald, and he has shown you how you should look like, okay, when you are in the laboratories. So those are the specific PPEs in the laboratories. We are going to make sure that all the equipment as well as instruments that are used will be cleaned and sanitized after each laboratory in preparation for the next class. Okay. For the surveying students, okay, so these are your PPE requirements. So if you do not have a helmet, so you can make use of hats to protect yourself from the sun. So as I've mentioned earlier, specific safety procedures and requirements are going to be discussed by your laboratory instructors during your course orientation. These are just general, and just to make sure that we are all on the same page, and so that we can, when we monitor your laboratory activities. Let me just remind everybody that CHED at any time may be monitoring us during the conduct of our laboratory activities. So we have to make sure that everything is in place. And then one important reminder is that for the laboratory activity, our instructors are the primary persons of authority in the lab. So the technicians are there to serve and assist our laboratory instructors. So in fact, our protocol in the college is that no laboratory activity can be conducted without the presence of the instructor. Okay. So, and then there are forms that may be used for each lab activity. So, especially when we make use of instruments, okay, that we need to borrow from our laboratory technicians. So, the borrower's form please prepare the borrower's form in advance. These forms can be downloaded at our xu.edu.ph College of Engineering website under downloadables. Okay, make sure that you fill them up in advance so that when you come to your laboratory rooms, okay, you just submit that and hand that to the laboratory technicians, and then the materials can be dispensed immediately. Okay. So other procedures, policies, and guidelines for students, researchers, and laboratory personnel are available and will be made available to you. They will be shared to your laboratory instructors so that they can be placed in your corresponding e-learn courses. Okay, so these are all the things that you need to put in mind. I think the floor now is open for any questions, both from students and faculty as well. And so while we still have our guests such as our representatives from the Vice President for Administration Office and Sir Herx here. Okay, are there any questions?
Walang ma'am, additional or clarificatory information. If you have the goggles, katulad itong mga departments nga nanay goggles, then therefore, you don't have to goggles or katong shield, katulad itong wielding shield or something. Then you don't have to wear the face shield. But for certain classes, like for example, sa communications, sa industrial engineering, sa electrical, and then we would want to have another layer of protection. So that's why bring your face shields para gamito nato. Okay. Sige. So just to clarify on that.
Sige, sir. Also, this activity this morning has been recorded and will be shared to the laboratory courses. Okay, because there were some comments that some presentations were a little bit too fast, so that they can go over the presentations again later at their own time. Are there any questions that you'd like to raise before we proceed to our breakout rooms? Yes, I see a raised hand, Neil.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning,
yes,
Sir
good morning.
Mag-ask lang ako about sa katong gown, lab gown. Where siya available katong nasa presentation bitaw. Kay murag wala ko ka-avail ana atong face-to-face manggod.
It used to be the book center has laboratory aprons available, but I am not sure if they still have it in stock right now. But I know National Bookstore used to sell also laboratory aprons and gowns. So you may check.
Okay, thank you po.
Or check with the canteen, no, if they are, if it's available there. So if you ask questions, kindly identify yourself as well and from what program you are in, so that we have an idea where you are coming from.
Hi, ma'am. I am from BSc Civil Engineering, a fourth-year student.
Okay, thank you, Neil.
Okay, there is a question in the chat box.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, dili na kailangan mag-uniform pag mag-enter sa campus, ma'am. Okay, I will answer this.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
It's very important that we have some sort of uniform, right, in a campus so that we can easily identify what particular student is a person, right? So this is what I have agreed with ACES, and I think OSA also agreed with this. So we will be requiring the students to wear the type B uniform. So unsa man ning type B katong bitong ang importante gid ani is ang upper man t-shirt nga white. Oo. So with this, kindly coordinate with ACES so that you could have your type B uniform. Okay? Napagyoy ko
There's a question. There's a hand raised. Jerby. This is Jerby Mantalaba. Yes. Gen B. Okay.
Gen B Mantalaba.
Gen B, can
Good day, ma'am. Good day,
Yes.
sir. I'm Jen B. Deborah Mantalaba from the Department of Industrial Engineering. I would like to ask if is there a way na ang student kay dili maka-afford maka-anha, ma'am, sa Xavier kay na ay personal reasons, like for example akong mother, ma'am, kamira duha niya kanang naa siya comorbidity that is health sensitive and lisod kanang emergency gani, ma'am, pag uli-uli kay namagod siya mga series of attacks.
Okay.
Anya, one pud
yes,
siya,
yes.
sir, kanang alert level 4 po diri sir niya, which is nga
Where are you located di ay?
sa Butuan City, sir.
Level 4 ang Butuan karon. Okay. So I think I have mentioned man Gen B in my presentation na although a student is fully vaccinated, but the student would have an option not to join limited face-to-face if, for example, you are living with somebody with comorbidity or si estudyante yun na ay comorbidity, ana. So, the current policy, so remember I have mentioned this in my presentation na ang academic policies with regards to COVID-19 is really fluid. So far, sa discussion sa Higher Ed Council, the current policy is that katugid mo gamit ta og LOA, leave of absence. So, and then nalang dayoy kuan kana bitong gitawag nato catch-up plan, and then your residency and your status as a student would not be prejudiced. So ana. So as of now, muna siya ang nakuha na to karon nga academic policy nga mo apply sa inyo. So yes, I really understand that your case is very critical. Layo ka ra, and then level 4 pagid ang butuan, and then you are living with your parent na ay comorbidity. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So there's another one, ma'am, si Leonor Lumantas.
Yes, Leonor.
Good morning, Sir Herx, and good morning, Ma'am Sherlyn. So I am Leonor Ellen Rose Elomantas from BSCE third year, and I am from Ozamis City, Misamis Occidental po, and I would like to ask, I actually duwa ako question nagka Ma'am and Sir na Ang una is unsa tong pasabot na QR code before entering the school, ma'am? Is it ang katong higala nga QR? Okay. Thank you. And
Yeah.
mag-ask unta ko, ma'am sir, if unsay requirements pasulod sa Cagayan de Oro. Kay murag if kabalo lang pod mo, sir and ma'am. Kay
Okay.
medyo confusing pud ay nag-ingon nga need pa mag-espas, need pa og another nga katong for barangay something. Kay syempre
Okay.
inbound could be nga travelers. Right, sir,
Okay.
ma'am.
Sige, Leonor. Thank you for your question. Where are you located now, Leonor?
Naagyapon ko sa Zamis karon, sir, sa among hometown.
Samis, yeah. So, with regards to kuan katong inter requirements of to CDO, I think you have to really communicate with the LGU. Kay as I've said, mag-usab-usab pod ang mga requirements ani nila. Kay depende mo gud na kung unsa nga level. So, actually sa kadaghanan sa mga requirements nga ako nagian, then lain yun, right? So, to make sure you communicate with the LGU. We will also make it sure sa admin we will get this information, the official information, current official information on how to enter CDO, and then we will disseminate it to the students. Okay? So,
Okay,
kana
sir.
lang gid siguro ako
Kayo.
answer. There is a
Sir,
question there is a
there's
chat. Yeah,
Yes,
sa
sir.
chat box,
Oo.
ma'am.
Oo.
This is with regards to the health insurance. So, below 21 years old, but karon pa nga year mag-start to pay as a voluntary member. So, it is okay nga ang proof of payment niya is from January to May 22. Or we are required to have our parents' health insurance submitted in the form po. So, kung voluntary member na siya, katong nag-21 na siya, so katumang ID ang ga-require. But if there are really kung ang concern gini mo is very specific, wala na cover sa katong mga information nga gi-relay sa ACES or sa katong sa survey form ito nga akong ipa-disseminate, kindly email me or contact ACES officers so that I could really understand or get your specific concern, and then if I could not answer it, I could direct it to my higher ups. Say, take note, kini po bag-o po ni siya nga mga requirement. And then, we are really trying to learn and then, learn as we go along this because it's really new. Okay? Sige, so, kuan lang ha, kanang apologies for some inconvenience with regards to this because I've said, bago pa gid ni siya nga kuan na implementation. So, expected yun na naatay mga questions. So, okay. So, I hope that answers your question. Corinne Abalde.
Sir, there's a
yes,
good
ma'am.
question here from Mark Joshua. What if somebody becomes positive? Will everybody in the class be quarantined? So,
yeah, okay.
That's a good question, actually.
It's very a good question. And I think si Sir Ed ang mas maayo maka-answer ani kay
Yes, sir.
sila ga-implement sa protocol, no, sa atong health protocol.
And it's everybody's concern, I think, right now.
Actually, wala pa tay experience, no, kay tungod kay wala pa man sa nagkanang klase gyud nga naagay na igo, no, nga na report. Kung basihan lagi nato ang katong contact tracing nga procedure, kuan ba lang siya, no? 15 minutes within 1 meter distance, no? So kung naka-engagement sa tao within 15 minutes, mahimo kang close contact. So i-monitor na sa dayon ka sa kuan sa LGU, no? I-monitor na dayon ka sa LGU. Ang cases karon is ka mga empleyado, mga workspaces, no, mga office for example, nakaparat ani nga mga office man kay kadaghanan aircon. So tungod kay aircon siya, ang tendency is tibuok office gyud ang atong i-disinfect, i-quarantine, no. So tanan bali i-clean, i-disinfect ang mga tao, of course mag-work from home, no, tanan. So kung i-compare nato na siya sa classroom, wala may aircon ang classroom, not unless laboratory nga closed gyud, no, nga mag-aircon. So kanang mga ungana nga mga cases, tibuok na siya nga klase. Tibuok na nga klase, no?
Yeah.
Dili lang gyud ko sigurado kay ang ato among kung example lang classroom lang, no? Kay kung classroom lang, nya nakadistansya na siya og 1.5 meters. 1.5 meters sa CHED na siya, no, nga standard. Ang sa DOH is 1 meter lang. So kung 1 meter lang kuan, ang problema lang kay mulapas mo siya og 15 minutes, no?
Yeah.
Kay classroom man.
Yeah.
So usually 30 minutes.
Oo.
So
3 hours gid sir.
More than an hour gid na of exposure
kay
with each
laboratory
other,
man.
sir.
Ako
So-
alam, sigurado ko basta kay aircon. Pero kung dili aircon, siguro nga na lang siguro, mas safe siguro ta, no? Ang problema lang is 10 days ato ang quarantine, no?
Quarantine.
O,
Unsa na sir, home self-quarantine, home?
Home, oo, home.
Okay.
Maniguro lang kita, no? Maniguro. So buti pa sabot kung ang katong mga estudyante nga apektado, pag-abot sa balay, mag-isolate, no? Ang point lang is in case lugar nga positive siya, mo man mas tsada nga response, no? Imo nang i-consider nga positive ka kay aron protektahan ang ubang member sa family. So, kung pwede ka sa lang ka room lugar, magamit og separate nga CR, mas maayo. Unya kung mag-engage ka sa imong mga kauban sa balay, mag-face mask, gano anya sila sa mag-face mask. So maniguro siya, maniguro gyud, no? Ana gyud. O ana ang dapat himuon. So after 10 days, kung mawala na or wala gyud symptom lugar, pwede na dayon. Pwede na dayon nga makabalik sa kuan. So ang ato sa workspace nga side, kinahanglan mata og certification sa doktor na nahuman na ka sa kwarentina, no? Kay kinahanglan ko siya nga recorded sab. Kung sa klase,
I think it applies sir.
Same.
Oo.
Oh, same.
Oo, same gihapon, no? Ang monitoring na siguro kay for example ang sa nursing, naman sila ilahang murag maestro nga in charge kada klase, no? Kung sa clinical instructor ba ilang term adto or murag ana, no? Naay in charge na faculty sa nursing, na po in charge na faculty sa School of Medicine. So dapat siguro sa engineering nasa siguro gihapon, no, ang laboratory nga kuan faculty siguro, no?
Yes sir, automatic man na nga ang
Automatic
laboratory instructor mo man gina siya in
Oo.
charge. Oo. So I think to answer this particular question, so kung from based on what Sir Ed had shared, kung positive gid to and then na-proven dito sa contact sa kuan sa investigation and so on and so forth nga naagyoy real possibility nga naay natakdan. So automatically the entire class would be reverted back to online. So mo kina siya ang kuan. O di ta magbadayon sa atong limited face to face. Kaya ato mo ginang ikuan no kay kung naay na quarantine or naay na isolate, then that student so it depends on the situation kay assess mo sa case to case basis ni siya. Oo.
Sige.
So
siguro Herx ang kuan lang dayon ang sa side sa personnel magod sa empleyado na magod tay communication system, no, natay protocol. So dapat sa inyo ang laboratory nga faculty mo communicate sa inyo
Yes. Oh.
Okay.
So
kay aron aware bitaw tanan ang college, aware.
Yeah, so these are the things ba akong gi-expect sir na mabuhat sa higher ed council. Oo, because general magina university wide maning nga protocol. Like so I expect magod nga kung whatever is applied to our staff or employees, mo-apply pud sa mga estudyante. Okay, while they are here, kauban man nato sila sa pamilya. Oo. So automatic sir kung unsay naa sa staff, mo gid pud ang mukuan sa estudyante. Nalay mga kalainan gamay because siyempre no kay estudyante man.
Siguro ang flow of communication lang siguro sir atong klarohon. So if a student becomes confirmed positive, so it should inform the instructor immediately so that the instructor can inform the dean and the university administration. So for contact tracing purposes and for whatever protocols that need to be implemented immediately after. Ana na lang atong kuan para klaro sa tanan.
Suggestion lang, kung lahi na ang paminaw sa bata lugar o sa estudyante, dili na gyud siya mutungan, mas mas kuan.
Yes.
Be self-aware. So if you're not feeling well, inform your instructor immediately, then do not come to class anymore.
So, sa gamay lang gud nga kuan.
Sore throat lang gamay or sipon lang gamay.
Sipon gamay.
Inform your instructor.
Di gyud.
We better be safe.
Yes.
Better be safe than sorry.
Yes.
Okay, I think si Sir Bacas would
Ando na
like
ba karon
to...
ma'am kay uso sad ang sipon ug ubo.
Yes,
Sa hospital so mura din sa COVID na ba din pero actually dili pa.
Yeah. But even if it's not COVID, just to be sure,
safe na lang, preemptive na lang kuan.
Yes.
Anyway,
asa yung isolation room dito? shared mo sa kuan di ba doon nag-designate nga isolation room
sa SOM.
Yeah.
Then ako lang sir, katulad mo adlaw ko lang sir katong bahay inyong issue sa close nga laboratory. So in terms sa chem lab, dagko mo kay sa exhaust so dili kay siya problema kay dagko mo kay exhaust nilang system. Pero sa uban og close gyud din og dili siya ma-open aircon. Naa may mitigation measure na even sa guidelines nga magamit mo air purifier. Then ang
air purifier pa karon sir.
Naa sa opisina dinhi sa Xavier ako nakita ang opisina nga na air purifier ang School of Education ang fakultero mo gaan.
Sir, I think dili na ni siya mo apply sa among mga laboratories because we have really opted to have it open.
Open again.
And then we install fans, ventilation fans.
Exhaust.
To do away with problems with the aircons. There is a question here from Formaran with regards to antigen test if ever na ay contact. So kinsa kuno yung mugasto ani Sir Ed?
Insurance. Is this where the insurance will play a role?
Kana bitaw nagsulti ko ganina nga kanang health insurance coverage dapat kini siya i-clarify gid ba kung unsa gi-cover but for this di pa nato ni siya makuan sa health insurance yun automatically karon but any antigen test kung na ay close contact so will issue pay for it kung
nag-istorya mi ni Doc Jojo bag-ulang gyud kay actually na ako i-report sa President's Council no regarding ang lugar sa ato ang sitwasyon. So ang kuan niya is sa pagkakaroon wala pag guideline para sa self-administered na antigen test no. So sa pagkakaroon lugar ang standard or ang guideline is hospital gyud ang magkuha og antigen test. So nakagwapo sa antigen test kay mas cheaper siya kaysa RT-PCR no. So tungod kay cheaper siya, dili kayo sakit lugar no. Ang suggestion ni Doc Jojo kung positive na ka sa antigen test na kay symptom, dili na lang ka mag RT-PCR. I-assume na nimo nga COVID ka na.
Sir, the question here is sir, kuan man ang bayad kuno sa antigen.
Cover ba
bayad. Kay mamay yang concern.
Wala lang kung ano no kung sao na siya kung wato mo ka hospital not unless nga for example na kay insurance mo ato gyud ka sa insurance no kung covered ang kung health
sige.
covered
ang lang sir anyway di pa gid siya klaro no so for Maran Mark ang ako na lang ika-isura sa imo is that this is one of the things that I have to submit to the higher ups in relation to the COVID coverage of the PhilHealth or the health insurance. Okay? Sige. So, then I will update you on that. So, I would just remind students in the chat box na just put comments that are relevant. Dili ta mag-fear-mongering sa atong mga comments diri, no? Kay this is not Facebook. Okay? So, na ko nakita diri nga murag nilayo na ang mga comments sa chat box.
Sir, I think we have time for just last question. Probably si Neil again. Is raising his hand.
Hello po again ma'am and sir. Ang akong concern kay about sa scheduling manggod na ako karon kay Pwede ba ako mag-adto before sa ako ang schedule sa lab kay straight magud akong klase sa online class o tapos na day lab sunod. Tapos
Okay.
kasundan na po siya online class bitaw.
Okay, Neil, actually, na-discuss na namo ni siya. So this is really a concern sa scheduling. And then I have instructed all department chairs to revise their schedule nga dapat ang estudyante gyud, for example, a student na siya ay laboratory class in the morning, dili gina siya duulan o online class. Dili siya duulan o online class. Kay lisod kay bitaw nga si student na siya online class 7:30 to 8:30 and then pagka 9 dayon face to face. So I have instructed the department chairs about this. If indeed this happened to you, then you have to consult this with your department chair because di ta kabalo magud during the actual enrollment kay supposing the department chair had really arranged the schedule, but take note ang mga estudyante baya pwede maka-take og GEC on another schedule as long as it would not conflict with their other schedules. So there is really a possibility that students, because of the self-enrollment, na inadto ang ilang schedule, just like yours. So you really have to consult this with your department chair. Open this to her para matagaan ka niya o guidance on how to resolve this. According to my presentation, i-priority yun ang subject nimo nga gi-enrollan nimo as limited face-to-face. Imo gina siyang priority. So kung naay ni duol diya nga GEC at ipakita nimo nga lisod, then ibalhin din na siya. Okay, that's my answer to you, Neil.
Ay sir, na ko'y follow up day sir. Ang after sa kung namurag na straight gid siya sir ba pag after gid akong lab kay naapog ko'y kanang online class bitaw naka-schedule sir nga. Lisod siya
Okay.
i-disassemble
Kini pod after na istoryahan na mo siya appeal. Dapat maay at least 1 hour na makauli ang estudyante. Muna akong istorya sa ila na dapat po na ay at least 1 hour makauli ang estudyante sa ilang balay or sa boarding house para dito na din siya mag-online. So appeal na siya. So consult it with your department chair again. Okay.
Thank you sir. Thank you ma'am.
Okay, thank you Neil. Maybe you can raise that to your department chair during the breakout session. Okay, so with that, I'd like to thank everyone for especially our guests from the administration office for their presence this morning and who have kindly helped us address the questions that we have regarding this limited face-to-face classes. Thank you, Sir Ed, Sir Paul, Sir Herx. Thank you very much for being with us this morning. So now I would like to request the students to proceed to their own breakout rooms for each of the department. So you can, I think you can proceed to the breakout rooms have been named after the department. So you can go there immediately, and then all the laboratory instructors and the department chairs will also proceed there. So if there are laboratory specific questions, you can raise them to your department chairs. These are Herx, basi magsuroy-suroy ra na siya karon sa mga breakout rooms. Okay, so thank you very much. So CHE, please join the CHE breakout room, IE to the IE breakout room, and so on. So, and then we will stay there for around
Pila pa na.
Everyone. Ay, hello, sir.
Pila ka book nimo estudyante? 104? Another, 5.
105 pero mura gadaghan pa sila, sir.
Oo.
Nanay siya.
So, kato si Kuan. Kato si, sa kito yung ngalan adto niya.
Neil.
Last. Si Neil. Oh,
So, ito yung concern, Neil?
Nagduol ang iyang Kuan. Katubitong ga-i-resolve na to. Nakita na to nga problema, Jul, bang? Katubitong na ay another subject na muduol sa limited face-to-face na class. So, niyong bitaw ko nga dapat layo o dili na siya duulan.
Unsa nga specific class, Neil, para atong ma-review sa schedule?
Ay, ako ang first quarter, ma'am, ang pinaka-mura, kung na kaya akong Wednesday nga schedule. Kay
E1 ka? Unsa ka na section ang selection nimo? E1 or E?
E2B ko, ma'am, pero akong C35 ra ang E1B o kuan manata SEM 4, 5.
Yeah, nganong na-change man siya? Nganong nalahi ang SEM?
Ay, nagkuan ko atong sa kuan, ma'am, katong structural nga major.
Okay, sige ha. So kung E2 ka, and then, unsay mo duol sa imong face-to-face?
Ang schedule sa lab, ma'am, kay 12 to 3. Ang before ana kay 10 to 12 na hydraulics na lecture.
12 to 3 laboratory?
Yes,
Okay,
mo
so
nakabutang ko.
Wednesday. Okay, tapos?
Akong narin ko lecture nga CE18 hydraulics 10 to 12. Tapos after din na kay CE36 nga online laboratory 3 to 6. Nana siya, ma'am.
Sa to after sa 3 p.m. na dayon kay
3 to 6 nga CE36 nga online laboratory, ma'am.
CE36 is unsa ganang CE36 dali? CE36 is
Nalimot ko sa description, ma'am. May tapang
CE36 is seminars and field trips. Okay. So inani nil o kajuta. So kani imo ang CE18, ang schedule is every Wednesdays lang.
Yes, ma'am.
Kani pa yung CE18, Neil, computational ni siya ang imong schedule. So this is basically online.
Kanang Wednesday.
Kani imong 12 to 3, that is computational. So dili ka ana face-to-face class, yes. And then kani imong lecture nga CE18 pod 10:30 9 to 12 online gyapon na siya kay lecture man.
Okay.
And then kani imong CE36, this is actually laboratory pero seminars and field trips lang niya siya.
So online na gyapon na siya, Neil.
And CE36 oo, basically online ra gyud siya tanan. So wala kayo siya mo conflict with the face-to-face class. Imong CE18 nga lab gyud nga face-to-face kay ano man na siya ang schedule. L2 is Fridays. So free imong 12 to 1:30. Yeah. So
okay. Sabi na kog tanan lab, ma'am, kay face-to-face. Sorry.
So clear na. Di na mag-worry.
Thank you for the clarification.
Nga lang magugay na check na review na ba na many times.
Amo na ba yan na nakuan siya, no problem. Na-resolve na namon na siya. So computational gyud ay.
Okay.
So ang seminars and field trips wala ko nagsugot og kuan kanang naa bitaw toy blended face to online gid siya ang seminars and field trips.
Butang na lang gid siya, sir, nga seminars, wala na field trips.
Pwede man na field trip pero online, virtual.
Virtual, yes. So virtual trips, dili field trips.
Si Puntilias, nanay nang utanan jud. Sumugawa sa ko jud habalhin ko.
Ay, ma'am, good morning, ma'am. Ang concern, ma'am, ba kay kanang nag-request no for term activation since Monday. Unya. Antod karon, ma'am, wala pagyapon ko na-activate.
Enrollment sa niyang concern. Kadjot ha.
Lagi pero kuan, ma'am, manang ingana lagi.
Ako sang pangitaon since naa naman ka diha. Pontillas. Endorse naman good ka. Yan, na-endorse na
Dili
ka.
dili ko ka ano ma'am, dili ko ka ad class gyapon ma'am. Kanang nagtry na
okay.
nagtry na ko kanang kwan sa SLMIS bitaw ma'am pero dili ko ka ano ad class.
Send. Term activated na ko una. Check na ko diri oh.
Kuan na kaganina ma'am katong pag
5368.
sa orientation.
Nag-message naman ka sa ako regarding ani, no?
Ay, wala ma'am. Sa ano lang ko nag-message sa DIN.
Sa to?
Sa ano,
Sir?
term activation.
Sige, message na lang sa ako man para akong ma-check nganong dili ka maka self-enroll.
Oh, self-enroll ma'am.
Sige, kadjut lang. 15 minutes raragata din eh. Kadjut lang. So, to imong SLMIS ID.
53680.
53680. Naan naman gud ka?
Dili ko ka kuan ma'am. I-check
ka
na ako.
self-enroll?
I-check i-check na ako utro na sa karon ma'am.
Yeah, sige. Kay basin anha pa sometimes lag ang SLMIS.
Sige.
Okay, so yes,
Thank you.
Asiniero.
Ay, ano po ma'am, regarding po sa enrollment ma'am ba? Sa atong second year ma'am is nag-enroll ako atong CE12 nga survey nga lecture, then after karon nga sem gusto na ko ang laboratory i-take nga kon ma'am, and then sa SLMIS is ang error daw kay kailang na daw ang prerequisite niya is katong lecture nga
12.1.
Opo din. Human ako take ma'am pero dili ma-enroll sa ang ba laboratory samot na ang C14 man natatupod ma'am.
Dili nimo siya ma-self-enroll?
Yes ma'am, like ang nakabutang dito is kanang murag na ay ang prereq niya is katong C12.1, then third year nga pero human naman kog take ato nga lecture ma'am, like bigid siya ma-enroll bitaw ma'am.
14.2. Okay. So dito bitaw sa tracer, di ba na ay tracer ang PICE? Okay, ako na lang i-request si Jeremy nga i-per subject para mas dali siya matrace. Like lahi ang sheet for the CE12 point kani nga concerns for the laboratories. So dito din mo mag-update so that maisa ra nako og validate tanan or need siya i-override.
Okay ma'am, thank you.
Naan ba si Jeremy dari?
Ako'y concern ma'am. Good morning. Yes ma'am, noted ma'am.
Yeah, sige, thank you Jer. Yes, kinsa to?
Potot ma'am.
Okay, Carlo. Yes.
Nay kanang several students gyapon ma'am ba kay ang concern namo kay nabilong mami sa iwan na block kay irregular man mi. Then sa among schedule sa 14.2 kay ang lab is 9 to 12 p.m. ay 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Then ang following na schedule ana ma'am is CE35 na iwan gyapon na block na lecture 12 to 1 p.m.
Don't worry with the CE35 kay that is just kanang FY. So we can really ask Sir Jeff na during your scheduled laboratory, yan ang i-online. Then, I mean, once a week raman mo mag-lab, diba? So if there would be any synchronous class, dito na niya i-schedule sa wala mo face-to-face class. So we can really adjust. Okay? So wala tayo problem.
Okay. Last regarding po sa enrollment para isa na lang. Ang nagyapoy like other students man ba included ko kay murag nawala to among gi-enroll na CM4 kay specialize mi og for structural.
So supposedly if for structural mo your CEM4 and 5 should be under my name. So katong nag-CEM4 and 5 nga under kay Ma'am Bell, gi-dissolve na to sa nga subject. they are transferred sa CEM 17 and 19. So katong for structural nga naka-enroll dito na appeal pagka-dissolve. So that is why I'm asking also Jeremy nga katong kung na may concerns mo balik mo og adto sa tracer.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, there are, I think, students, pag tanaw na ko sa class list, wala na nagkapareha ang students in my SEM 4 and 5, no? So, dapat the same students. So, nagkalain-lain. So, therefore, nagyoy na dissolve og appeal nga for structural sa inan.
Okay.
So, ato nang i-adjust. Okay. So, I hope nakadungog ang the same concerns, no? Okay, si Kim Liam. Yes. Okay. CE14 ma-open gina siya. I was just waiting for the update kato bitang survey kay up to yesterday there's still no feedback if madayon ba gyud ang face-to-face class. Kay the last update that we had kay ang face-to-face will be optional, so that would be a big boomerang na pud sa among ano. So kay kung mahimo man gud siyang optional katumangong already opened nga lab, ma-change ang number of ang class size, possibly ma-change ang schedule, ana. So we are just waiting for the feedback. Pero based on the presentation karon ni Dean, mura man og padayon ang face-to-face class. So karon pa pud nako dayon i-work ang schedule dayon ninyo sa sipot. Pero yes, ma-open dito ah. Yeah. I think daghan ako yung survey no, pero naaman wala pa man way gi-disseminate sa amo nga final murag word from the VP admin jud. So the last meeting that we had, ang feedback was there is a possibility nga optional ang face-to-face class. After that, kanina dayon. So I guess anak pa pud ni mag-expect or mag-assume nga well the face-to-face class will be kanang forgo ana. Naamoy gi-set dadto nga schedule. I was really depending on that. Kay for those students nga nag-sign up dito with that given schedule, so I'm expecting a walay mo conflict. Tama ba? Yeah, correct. Kay since mauna to siya ang schedule nga gilabas sa request, so we are really relying no anay mo conflict at. Pwede man. I guess pwede. Pwede ra. For the lecture lang na ha, then for the laboratory, makita problem with the online face-to-face lab sa CE14. So basig dili na ta mag-open og another lab. So for those students na lang dayon mo take og lab sa new section, mo singit kung pwede i-increase ang class size. Yeah, kay pang third year man dapat ang CE14 mo. Mo conflict. CE14. Pero gamay ra mo. No. Okay, so mga third section yun daan sa CE14. Ako open. So CE14, kaya ang CE14 nabutang manggod siya sa third year. CE18. CE14. 4th year, 3rd year. Ano mo conflict man nga ang CE14 is MTH man siya. MTH man siya. Dahil CE14 LE1, that's 9 to 12 Monday. CE14 LE2, that's 9 to 12 Thursday. And where is the other CE14? LE3. Okay, then dili kung mag-take day mo sa ang L3 lang, E3 lang ang kung mo-take pud mo sa E1 ug E2, mo conflict na pud mo sa other subjects. Kay ngano na ereg mo no? So mo na nag-take mo og E3. Sige lang, appeal na lang mo didto sa tracer, appeal mo og fill up dadto sa separate tracer for CE12 and 14. Okay, para ako mag-check one by one. Kay 10 naman sad ka makabo. Okay, sige, other questions. Ako na lang magtawag kay daghan kay raise og hand ha. Hello, Sir Jeff. Okay. Acknowledged. Hi.
Hello, Ma'am Julie.
How are you?
Kailan, Ma'am, recovering. Akong concern, Ma'am, sa laboratory lang man, just an announcement sa students under my class nga kanang dili ko mo gamit ang paper once request mo to borrow equipments. So, naatay buhaton nga separate link outside sa kadtong laboratory equipment borrowers form. So, i-automate na to siya. So, you will be instructed in class how to access the link, and then dito po din yung ma-monitor through email if approved na inyong request to borrow the equipment. So, no need to print the borrower's form if ever mag face-to-face na tao classes.
Thank you for that, Sir Jeff. So in relation sa na-mention ni Sir Jeff, no, kana siya number 1, so wala tay no paper ta in the lab. So dapat before mo muadto og campus, kahibalo na mo dapat unsa inyong experiment for that day. Naka-fill up na mo dapat og borrower's slip. Okay? And then dili diretso muadto sa, especially for the surveying class, since field man mo, dili mo muadto sa surveying room ni Sir Carl. So naatay i-display, magsabot pa ana si Sir Jeff ug si Sir Carl, no? Naatay designated areas didto na ninyo hulatan ng inyong equipments. Okay, so per class na siya. So kanang hallway before mo enter sa engineering na ay mga poste-poste dara. So might be kana ang diha ipampili ng inyong mga equipments. So it would be a more work, more effort for Sir Carl, no? Kay arsahon man gid niya from the surveying lab to your designated areas. Okay, and then also napoy designated waiting areas per group dadto sa soccer field. Only the representatives of the group ang muadto sa designated areas where mo mag-pick up sa inyong equipments. So ingon ana yun siya ang mahitabo. Okay, then as much as possible, kay namo sa field alang-alang magdala-dalag megaphone si Sir Jeff kung naa siya assignment, no? As much as possible, there would be one person in a group na online gyud at that moment. Kung naa day mga announcements per class, through wherever kung depende sa kung ahay ninyo nasabutan sa inyo ang klase under kay Sir Jeff. Kung naay mga announcements dadto na kahit nag face-to-face mo, the announcement will be done online lang gyud gihapon, no? Para walay daghang megaphone. Here class, come here basi mahimuon yang itugyan tanang mag-megaphone na to ilang Sir Bacas, no, sa security office. Kaya marag sila maghawid og megaphone pumamadlong sila og students. So ingon okay ba? Sir Jeff, na ade concern. So na-move ang imong CE35. Na-move imong CE35 to 12 to 1:30. And medyo mo na day ana, I think Monday, mag-start siya right after sa ilang face-to-face lab. So dili man supposedly na siya allowed, pero I told them nga kung Monday gali, therefore wala kay synchronous class ang time, online na siya. Okay, so kung mag-synchronous activity, it would be done katong dili mo follow right after sa ilang face-to-face meeting.
Noted, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Sir Jeff. How are you? Fine.
Okay,
another question, Alex.
Good morning, ma'am. Regarding sa OJT, gali ma'am sa second quarter,
Yeah.
kanang what if taga butuan mi ma'am niya? Like, pwede mi sa butuan ra mag OJT? Or ano kay ano good ma'am? Like, naay duha ka subjects nga lab hapon. So, unsay ka-recommend mo nga na ma'am?
Naa kay face-to-face lab?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, if face-to-face lab. Unsa pwede mo face-to-face lab? Kay there are face-to-face lab na semestral, na apoy quarter lang.
CE14, ma'am. I think it's semestral.
Yeah, kung semestral imong face-to-face lab, therefore, nakapag-CDO. So better CDO na lang ka mag-OJT.
Okay, ma'am. So, thank you, ma'am.
And then ato pong OJT, it will be blended. So part of your task will be online. Part of your task will be kato na mo adto mo sa companies.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Si Marvin?
Hello, ma'am. Good morning. Same concern ka ganina, ma'am, about itong scheduling. Like, nami 7:30 murag online class and pag 9 kay face-to-face, ma'am, nga laboratory.
Unsay imong schedule? E1, E2, fourth year, no? Marvin? Third year. Unsay schedule mo? E1?
3B. And
E3.
E3 and CE12, E3.
Unsa to?
CE12.2, 3E3B.
And then unsay iya ang follow nga subject?
Ang CE21, ma'am, kay kuan ang mag-follow siya sa CE12.
CE21?
CE21, ma'am. LE3B. Laboratory.
CE12.
And follow dayon ang CE12 nga pag 9.
7:30. That's just lab. Computational lab ko na siya. So, eventually, wala mo yung synchronous yapon na. So, the same sa atong CE35 kaganina with Sir Jeff, kani under man ni kay Sir Art. So, if there would be synchronous class, dili na to i-match sa inyong laboratory, face-to-face lab. So,
Okay,
usually, kani CE21, plates lang man gihapon inyong buhaton, di ba? So, this is more on online gyud, less ra kay inyong synchronous class ani.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. You also have to tell the faculties kani si Sir Art, i-inform po siya. Kaya wala ba siya karon. Pero of course, I have to tell him also. Then, Princess?
Yes, ma'am. Hello po. Good morning. A question about the CE14, if wholesome siya or quarterly?
CE14, I think makita ninyo sa inyong schedule. For SEM.
Sige, ma'am. Thank you.
Si Juan Florence.
Good morning, ma'am.
Okay,
akong concern, ma'am, is akong subject si 35 kay dili na ko siya ma-add since natangtang man kalit ang C27 sa ko sa first sem.
So ikaw man to, no, ang naay problem.
Yes, ma'am.
Kadali i-remind ko para atong so that involves already registrar solutions mangod. So dili na nako na siya masolve at my end. So we need endorsements from the dean. So kailangan ko nimo i-remind through email. Okay?
Nag-send ko email sa dean, ma'am, and di CCT ka adto nga email, ma'am.
Wala pa po siya nag-reply. Sige, akong pangitaan.
Wala pa, ma'am. Napod ko another concern po, ma'am, sa CM19.
Yes.
Kay conflict siya sa sa C21 na mo nga sked ma'am. C21 LE3.
C21.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's see. C21. Sem 19 kayo dapat. Kasi schedule, anak. Maunang Sem 5 sa unang schedule mo.
Yes, ma'am.
Your CE21 is sa section?
E3, E3B, ma'am.
Sem 19. Sem 19. CE21. 4:30 to 7:30. And then CE21. Ano sa'yo mo conflict ang lecture?
Sa lecture ata, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Lecture.
3 to 5 man ang lecture. Sem 19 is
Aman 4:30 man ata, ma'am.
3 to 5. Mo sulod siya sa 5.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Pwede ra i-adjust naman na to ang schedule CE21 lecture 3 to 5. Lecture? Kinsa ko na lecture ani? Ako ba na lecture ani? Yeah, nilapas ang pick 1, manggunig CE21 ba? Yung lecture is pila ni ka units? Steel. This is steel, right? Okay, sige. Ako ni pangitahan og adjustment.
Thank you, ma'am.
And then, kinsa kay lain diri. Ito ba dapat concern diri kay lab kamo jud? Karen?
Ay, same concern lang sa uban pero lahi nga subject. Kuan ma'am kanang if ever kaning di ba ma'am mag-post man ka-about din sa C14 nga lec tapos ang lab din niya ma'am nga sa E3B nga section kay Wednesday man ni ma'am 9 to 12. Na din may CE22 before ma'am nga lab yapon.
22. Unsa man
Yes.
CE22?
CE22 ni kang Sir Agus man yapon ma'am.
Kana bitang mga laboratory nga computational, so dili mo mag-problem ana. Kanang especially nga ato ara gyapon subject. So concern lang ninyo ana is na ay moduol nga subject nga like lahi bitaw ang magdala. Kay kung kita lang sa CE, we can really, make amends on it. So ignore na gyud nato ang faculty nga do not conduct synchronous class kani nga schedule.
Thank
Okay
you
ba?
ma'am.
Sige. Si kinsa pa man? Alex?
Ay, okay na ko, ma'am.
Okay na ka. Si
Okay na.
Neil, may other question?
Ay, akong concern ma'am kay katong about sa ERC ma'am. Na mention man good ma'am sa katong presentation ni Sir Hertz manata to na if naay tuyo sa labs regarding sa FY purposes kay mag-letter pa daw nya mag naay i-submit for approval. If sa ERC ma'am inana gyapon ang ma'am. Amara pamaagi or lahi
So
ma'am.
under ka kay Ma'am Bell, naa ka sa transpo.
Yes ma'am.
So ang ako magong gi-ask sa akong group bitaw kay naghimo na sila daan og ilang schedule. Kato bitaw ang gi-mention ni Sir Hertz ganina nga na i-form. So as much as possible, magbutang na budaan dito sa schedule, inyong expected nga activity, date of visit, pila mo kabuok, then reason, inana. So kung wala, para ma-approve na to siya, daan. So kung naday mo schedule, pinakalit nga schedule, wala ninyo na-anticipate, no? Kay it's research. Aya pa dayon mo mag-request. Actually, request for entry na siya. Kay calculated man good how many persons ang naa sa campus at that every day. So calculated na siya. So therefore, kung mukalit lang musulod kay naamoy anticipated nga schedule, then dapat mo mananghid. So ano siguro?
Sige, ma'am.
Yes,
Sige, ma'am.
kay close man dayon ang ERC ana nga time. So pila ra ka number of students ang i-allow natong sulod. Okay. Si Donna?
Hello,
Donna?
ma'am. Good morning.
Yes.
Na ako'y concern regarding sa akong CE18 nga E3B LEC schedule and then sa A17.1 nga E3B pod ma'am kay nag-conflict sila by 1 hour. Ang akong CE18 is 8 to 11 and then ang A17 is 10 to
Unsa man
12.
siyang section?
E3B both ma'am. Ay EB3 ang CE18.
Ang A17 is third year, no? Nga section, puro E3.
Yes, ma'am. Request on to ako if pwede ko ma-transfer sa E1B and same pod may concern ni Pelias wa siya kasulod karon diri.
18. Yeah, okay ra na siya. Basta mga inana siguro. So, fill up lang gihapon sa tracer, ha?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks. So, for the tracer, di ay wala kay ko nag-respond kanang since more last week, no, minimal kay ang response kay number 1 katong sige ka daw ng SLMIS. Then number 2, there are concerns na ma-change siya or ma-answer siya with the changes of the schedules. So karon na ta next week mag-start to answer sa inyong concerns. And also tomorrow. Tomorrow is Saturday. Also daghan pa kay grades man ako na submit. Pero last na lang. Si 15E3. Carlo, yes.
Sa pag-put sa katumar tracker sheet, ma'am, ba kay pwede i-direct lang na ko og butang na mag-request ko to enroll for CM4 and 5 kay wala man gud makita na schedule sa SLMS so dili ko makaput sa murag course code.
CM4 and 5?
Yeah, katong para sa katong structural na specialization, ma'am, under sa imuha. Kaya dili ko ka-refer sa SLMS manggod kay walay course code. So
kay close naman siya, di na siya tunga. Yeah, okay lang. Okay lang sa SEM4 and 5.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Si Elmer. Elmer, bagi di mo ngalan? Or Keanu?
Keanu, ma'am. Morning, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, nakoy conflict pod ako actually sa CEM19. Pero 21 ug 35 ako, ma'am, E3B.
So to? Yung
CE35 nga lecture.
Okay.
E3B.
Conflict sa?
CEM19 ug apel tong CE21 pod, ma'am. So duha akong conflict.
Same schedule? E1 tanan? Or ano mo?
Ang ako ang CE21, E3B, CE35 kay E3B.
CE21. CE35 lecture.
Yes, ma'am. 6 to 7 p.m. sa Tuesday. Tapos ang available sa CM19 kay 4:30 to 7:30.
Dili, uy. CE21, wala CE21 na gabi.
Ay, dili. Ang CE21, ma'am, kay E3B lecture 3 to 5. Ma-conflict siya sa CM19 kay 4:30 man to, diba? Tapos ang CE35 din ng 6 to 7 p.m.
So nagtabok imong schedule sa third year, no?
Yes, ma'am.
CE21 is 3 to 5, E3B. So SEM nimo is SEM 19. 3 to 5, 4:30 to 6. No, di na lang dyan ka mo enroll ani. Ay sabi. 1:30 to 3. Okay, I'll think about it. Isa na siya pag-move. Okay, choice.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
And then, kinsa pa? Balik-balik ra lagi ning mga question. Lumantas.
Hi ma'am, morning.
Yes, good morning.
Kanang nakoy concern sa mo na enrollan kaya mo ang ACE 17.1 o ang CE 12.2 na mo mamba itubi among gi-enroll. And then every Saturday ang ilang interval ra is 30 minutes.
Saturday? Wala may
Yes, ma'am.
face-to-face sa Saturday.
So ang kaning CE 12.2 nga laboratory na kabutang ani ma'am, possible nga dili na siya i-face to face.
Computational siguro na siya. Kaya wala tayo lab sa Saturday. Kaya we don't have available lab techs.
So kaning Wednesday ra gyud siya ma'am, na siya. Okay ma'am. Sige ma'am, thank you.
Lercon. Manamang kagyano si Princess.
Hello ma'am, about sa pag-schedule sa CE14 na lab, yung sinuggest sa 4:30. Okay, meron pa ibang other options if ever kasi for this quarter kasi like puno yung time slot na yan sa like buong week filled with lecture classes and maiba laboratory if 4:30. If ma-schedule sa 4:30 ba?
Afternoon ang lab? No.
Hindi ma'am. Hindi na.
So, we can't move the face-to-face lab kay this was already dalayo na ni siya naamtan ni abot na ning CHED, ni abot na ning IATF. So, there will be a lot kanang documents may tabo if we will change this. So, we can, mana siya. Ganun. And also, again katong i-open ato nga new section for CE14, it's possible nga the laboratory ato kay you will just insert in either E1, E2, and E3 sections. Kay if mag-open na pud tawag another laboratory, meaning mag-request na pud to CHED, to IATF, to the city council, to the everything. So, kanang brace yourself nga ang inyong laboratory sections would limit only to the schedule sa E1, E2, and E3. Only the lecture na lang dayon sa CE14 na nga itong i-open. Okay ba?
Sige ma'am, pero lang, concern na about sa kasi baka mag-conflict ba if ever?
Sige lang, we'll check your schedule na lang dayon. We'll see.
Sige ma'am, thank you.
Sige. Other concerns? So by the way, kanang balik ta sa lab ha. So not all activities in the laboratory pod ato ang i-face to face. So na-mention ni Dean kaganina na selected lang ang laboratories nga i-perform ninyo face-to-face. So for example, sa hydraulics, there are a total of 22 laboratories. Ang inyo lang i-perform na face-to-face is like 10 to 12. And for hydraulics also, there are only 4 groups per week ang mag-perform of lab. Every lab schedule inyong i-perform is 2 to 3 experiments. Okay, so madugo kaayo na inyong 9 to 12. So wala na may time na maginhawa, no? So 4 groups mag-perform of 2 to 3 laboratories each. Okay, cycle na siya. So for the next month na po dayon, ang murag next week, wala dayon may schedule. So murag puli-puli per week ang mo sulod sa lab. So inana. And sa inyo ang surveying, si Sir Jeff ang mag-arrange ana sa inyong schedules, no? And then sa materials, construction materials and testing, per group, ika-isa ra gyud mo sulod sa laboratory for the entire semester. So lahi ang atong pattern in CE14. Lahi sila sa hydraulics. Okay? So sa CE14, every group ma-assignan mo og 1 laboratory lang for your entire semester. All the rest online. So inyo din ang i-discuss sa class through your videos. So magkuan mo guys, maghimo mong vlog per kada laboratory. For example, the group 1, group ni Formaran. So mag-perform sila og slump test. So kanang slump test, mura na siya ilang assigned face-to-face lab for the entire semester for materials and testing. So ila din nang mag-vlog din ni si Mark yang i-discuss sa through online synchronous online meeting unsa ilang gi-perform sa lab. So ingana. So then the next group will be assigned to another laboratory, then sila na po dayon ang mag-discuss. So aside from nag-perform mo, nag-take og video, na ay nag-explain, na nag-discuss. Okay, so inana ang mahitabo sa materials and testing. Okay. And then for the hydraulics, actual yun mo mag-perform kung like 10 experiment ang kailangan i-face-to-face, dapat ka ng 10 ma-perform yun per group. Okay, so ganun. Then si Mark, yes.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am. Can we overload 1 unit, ma'am, this semester, ma'am?
Overloads are supposed to be applied to. So pag-apply og overload, aron i-approve or i-disapprove ka. I-evaluate ka kung allowed ka or di. Okay?
What are the requirements, ma'am? Like
Add to sa Warriors page na added to tanan.
Okay, so I
Okay.
contact
Roy.
Mrs.
Okay, goodbye, Mark. Roy.
Okay.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes, morning.
Kanang say may concern ni Alarcon, ma'am, nga patong sa CM19 nga conflict Japan ang 35 o katong 21. So naway possibility, ma'am, nga maka-open og slot for sa 35 E1B para
i-mention lang sa tracer, no, para I can
okay.
look into it. Og ayos. So Neil?
Thank you, ma'am.
Ay, ma'am, naka-remember ko, ma'am, ba last year, ma'am, kay nag-ask ka kay Ma'am Annabel about sa katong mga transpo teams na dili lang transpo team pero FY teams na kuanunta sa ERC for this year dapat. And dili ko sure, ma'am, if mag-inquire ko, ma'am, if na-receive ba nimo akong email, nagbuhat ko
Unsa man
Google
sa
Sheets.
ERC?
Like kanang tungod bitaw sa software reasons, ma'am, like mo ang sa ERC.
Good siya. Inyo nang istoryahan daan sa inyo ang mentor. So kay Ma'am Bell. Kay syempre, approve man po niya inyong activities. So every request ninyo dapat endorse po niya. So dili mo go diretso og request sa college. Kay ERC man na, no, si Dean siguro ang mo-approve na. So, ano. At the same time, si Ma'am Bell po ang director sa ERC, no? So, dako gid kayo siya og part sa inyo ang pagsulod gawa sa ERC. So, dito mo first mo adto sa iya. Kung unsa iya ang protocols.
Sige, mag-discuss na lang kami later, ma'am.
Yes, Marvin.
Hello, ma'am. Like, mag-ask lang kami sa mong A16 nga si Sir JC ang kuan man ba, ang teacher. Pag-ask lang kami, ma'am, isa na mo siya pag-contact, hindi siya ga-reply.
Actually, nag-reply na si Sir JC. I think he was sick. So, nag-wait lang po na maka-recover siya. Then, kanang para ma-input niya ang grades.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Oo. Mark, yes.
Ma'am, where do we buy the PPE for surveying, ma'am?
PPE?
Kayang,
So all you need is a white shirt and an apron, di ba? Oh, unsa to? Surveying?
Katong murag reflector nga traffic enforcer RTA without.
Nasa National Bookstore. Ma'am Jul, nasa National Bookstore, ma'am.
PPE raman ka reflector vest?
Oo.
Yes, ma'am.
Sinuupo daghan maguna, Mark, bisan asa man makita.
Nasa compound unit top daghan.
Sige.
Napa sa Ace Hardware, everywhere.
Taga-Bukid
man po, ma'am. Yes, Princess.
Yes, thank you ulit. I mean, about ni sa ano naman, so sa subjects under kay Ma'am Sheila, if I wonder na if paano siya ma-reach out.
Yeah.
Kasi,
si Ma'am Sheila is still recovering. Nasakit gyapon siya, no? Then karon pa pud siya na week. Nag-start og check sa inyo ang papers. Pero don't worry, I know daghan kaayo grades concern kay Engineer Sheila, no? So ato sa nang i-review, then dapat makita sa ninyo before na ko i-approve ang grades. Kay I
Yes,
know
ma'am.
nga kanang tense mo sa iyang subjects. So don't worry. So dili sa nato i-approve una, dito sang ipakita, then we'll wait for your responses. Inyong mga concerns, ana nato i-approve. Okay, kasi naman siya if F. Joke lang. Sir Johan, naa kay i-add?
Yes, ma'am. Laboratory lang nato sa hydro, bawal lang ta mag-shorts ha. Close shoes gyud ta dayon. Kato lang kuan, i-apil na lang po nato ang kuan, ang face shield o atong apron nato.
Yeah. So sa tanan laboratory sa CE, no, ang hydraulics ang madugo kay since 4 groups ang mag-work at the same time, and then 2 classrooms, 2 lab ang atong i-occupy, that will be the hydro lab and the soils mechanics lab. So medyo si Sir Johan ang pinaka-busy. So strict gina siya, no? Daghan gina siya i-follow. Pag moingon si Sir Johan, papauli mo na wala jud koy mabuhat, okay? So,
Actually, murag gadungan akong schedule sa EE, ma'am. So, murag magdagandagan gyud ko ani.
Yeah, so sige, daghan na kayo siya guman. So dili gid ta magpabadlong. Follow the unsa tong ruling, Sir Johan, follow the arrows.
Katong na yung mga signage dito, i-follow lang gito nato. Then kung pwede, magsayo lang kita kay sayang atong kuan kay dili man gud siya dali ra mahuman ang experiment. So kailangan ta nga on time kita dito kay sayang ang kuan.
Gamay na 2 to 3 experiments per group per day ang ilang i-perform. So pas yun dapat malihok. So wala na gyud mga kuan meeting na
kay kung namoy pangutana, ay lang mo kaulag pangutana sa ako kay dali na solusyonan.
Yes.
So mo na ako, Ma'am Jul. Bawal lang ta mag-kuan, mag-short pan o katong mag-sandal bitaw.
Okay.
Kay basi
Mark,
slide
so for your concern, Mark, sulat lang gyapon na sa tracer. So, unsa pay other concerns? Dapat 15 minutes ra tanong.
Ay, ma'am, na lang ko'y last concern unta, ma'am, na i-ask. Regarding sa katong under bitaw sa imuha daw, ma'am, na CE27, E3B, unsa daw ilang ibuhat, ma'am, para sa INC daw na break?
Okay. Ang INC ato kay meaning ana lahi ang ilang kanang teacher, no? I think na belong sila kay Sir Jeff or kay Sir Dex. So pag mag-submit na sila og grades, then ato na nang change ang INC. So don't worry with the INC, di na pasabot nga na amoy kulang.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. For the hard hat, si Sir Jeff, na pa ba si Sir Jeff?
Yes, ma'am.
Concern CE12, Sir Jeff, pwede ba daw any rang a cap? Dili hard hat. Sa pangiging Sir Jeff.
Pan lang siguro, hard hat lang kita kay human ang standard po sa construction pag human. So hard hat lang.
So that's a requirement yun. So dili pwede nga dili. Anyway, hard hats kay kanang naibarato na baligya no 100 plus. And also kung magpalit mo na magamit po na ninyo when you become engineers. So white hard hats, dili itong orange, blue, or yellow. Okay. So ayaw mo ka hadlok mag-spend og hard hat kay ang akong hard hat atong college pa ko buhi pa until now. So gamit din kay siya. Michelle, yes.
Ay, okay na ma'am. Ako lay down. Sorry.
Princess, another follow-up question?
Yes, ma'am. About sa, ano naman, yung sa CE14 na instead, may nagsabi po na instead na mag-add section if pwede daw i-change yung time sa na-set na section na or possible daw ba yun?
No, una ako na-mention ganina, we cannot adjust the time schedule for the lab, for the laboratory na na-ay face-to-face, no, kay kanang especially while nagklase ta na ay mga spot inspection ang IATF, ang CHED ug ang City Council. So dili na nato na pwede i-change ang schedule kay meaning ana moabot na nato ang changes pud sa ila ang office. So aside aside from they were conducting inspections before nag-start ang klase, mag-spot inspection po sila while nataga-klase. So inana sila ka-strict.
Kaya pala.
Yeah,
Sige,
surprise
ma'am.
visits na dili na siya schedule. So
Sige,
kung
ma'am.
naaman gali tay need nga i-change nga schedule, that would be the other sections nga dili face-to-face. Kaya mas dali na to siya i-maneuver.
Sige, ma'am. Noted, ma'am.
Possible ba nga mag-open slots for CE 21 and 22 para sa, yeah, pwede, we can always increase the slots. Ano sa itsura ng field notes? Na, mag-research. Mag-research. Na, nasa Google. Anyway, unsa pay lain? Sige, other questions. Also, for additional reminders sa inyo ang laboratory, dili man mo diretso mag-lab no pag klase. So mag-meeting pa man mo with your assigned instructor. So dito na mabalaan tanan. Especially the groupings, the schedules. Yes, you need to request. You need to request na mag-enroll sa CE 21 and 22 so that I would know kung pila pa ka-slots ako ang i-request to open. Okay? So, balik yun po dito sa tracer sa PICE.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Can it see? Kinsa to siya?
Hi, Jeremy, ma'am.
Yes, Jer.
Ay, nag-raise lang og kuan request from ASAS kay nag-message daw si Ma'am Apur regarding sa request to open. Kasi wala ni mo nabantayan daw sa Google Sheet na subject count.
Unsa nga subject?
CE14 I think, ma'am. Or general lang. Nasa yung comment dito daw nga Google Sheet subject count. Kasi wala ni mo na read daw. From Ma'am Apur.
Yeah, I think na-announce na ako ni karon. I was just waiting for the response. So I was just waiting sa response sa survey, and since wala may naghatag og response, and then based on the presentation ni Dean, wala man og continue na gyud ta mag face to face. So therefore, kaya pa ta make kung action ani. And then another update na only the lecture will be open. Ang lab, dito na mo enroll ang students sa existing laboratory. Okay? So, dili na ako mag-reply dito ha, kay ma-action na naman na siya.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sige, other questions? Pangutana sa kanang pagiday mag-message ako ang messenger. Sige, questions.
Hey, excuse me, ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
Kaning naka-pending sa kuno ba Excel nga sheet kay ikaw ang nagkuan ani mo ba remarks?
Pending.
Kaning sa Excel nga kuan mo ba? Nga concerns bitaw ma'am magin. Ikaw ang nagkuan ani mo ba ma'am kanang nag-remarks like
kanang sa
pending?
ICES or sa PICE tracer?
Kaning tracer man siguro ang tawag nimo. Kaning XUCA second semester enrollment concern live tracker.
Sa CE na. Pending?
O ang mga kaning mga remarks ma'am kay ang ikaw man ang kuan mo ba?
Wala lagi na ako na open ang camera. Ano pending? Wala mo ko nabutang o pending. Yeah, maybe because na ICE 14. Yeah. CEM4. Ako siguro ni. Dili ako ang nabutana.
Basis lang ata ng pending, ma'am. Labi na katong sa CM4 o 5
Yeah.
kay send po man sa'yo mo.
Yeah, I guess. Mana siya reason. Okay. Sige, ang sa pay question 9. So kaning magpa-add og kuan dadto na ni sa tracer. Magpa-add og slot inana. Kay kailangan pa mo nato na i-review inyo ang study list, inyo wala ba na overload. So inyo na dito na sa tracer. So pwede siya maka-add, pwede pa dili. Okay.
Excuse me again, ma'am.
Yes, Jer.
Since ganid yun sila assurance, for CEM4 and 5 kato bitong na-dissolve na mga students kay nana diri sa CEM4 and 5 na sheet, ma'am.
Yeah, nakita na.
Na-add na dira para lang ma-assure sila nga ma-action.
Better, Jer. Thank you. Para if I would take action sa SEM4 and 5, diri na lang kumutanaw na mausara.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes. Yamis.
Good morning, ma'am. Kanang regarding sa CE29, ma'am, since katong gidrop na mo last sem kay katungod sa CE15, since wala siya na open karon kay gamay ra ata ang nag-request, kay pwede maka-take og CE39 bisag wala pa naka-take og CE29, like prereq siya sa prereq sila duha, ma'am.
Prereq. That's prereq.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Sige, so yes, wala pa grades na to sa CE15 E3 ha. So kana na lang gid akong utang. Siguro ma-post na tonight. Anong mga anonymous maniinyo ang mga pangalan diri sa link oy, mga unfair kay mo ha. No, puro mga anonymous. Anyway. So kung wala na tayo questions, maybe pwede na mo balik sa ilan na lang bilin doon. Pwede na mo balik sa main room. Yes, so pabilin lang tong naapay questions ha. I'll just wait for you. Say announcement, Mark. Ay, wala ko kabalo. I think, di ba, we are only given 15 minutes and we have to go back to the main room. Yes, thank you, Mark. Please find it out.
Ay, ma'am, si Puntillas ni ma'am.
Yeah.
Kanang sa request overload, ma'am ba? Mag-wait lang mi sa imong ano, ma'am, no?
Always check your attachment katong inyong gi-attach nga file. Gabutang ra ko og comments dadto. Ang uban di
okay.
nila makita ang comments, di malibog jud kung ano di ninyo makita. Kay basically it's your file. So katong inyong gi-attach, tan-aw lang gyud dadto be akong tan-aw. Puntillas no?
Yes, ma'am. check na lang ko, ma'am.
Nako kung. Yeah, wala.
Bali, wala naka-comment ka, ma'am, or kuan kay wala ko makita pa na ano, ma'am bay.
Oh. Pero kani imong overload, this is not allowed. Nag 7 units pa eh.
Sige, ma'am.
So,
Pila ka
i-reply
units
siguro
ang allowed mag-overload, ma'am?
6 units kung walay OJT. Kung naay OJT, kanang 6 units na overload, dili na mo sigo sa mo schedule.
So at least 6 units na walay OJT?
Yes, oo.
Sige, kaya ang plano na ako, ma'am, basin summer na lang ako i-take ang OJT. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, summer is the best.
Ma'am, good morning.
Yes.
Pwede mag-ask ma'am nga nung dili ma-allowed ang katong 6 unit